Hello, and thank you for joining us to learn about the AbleTech Demo and Loan Program. I'm Kimberly Berry, AbleTech Teacher of the Visually Impaired, and joining me is Amy Woods, Licensed Occupational Therapy Assistant. We're focusing today on how the Demo and Loan Program works with an eye toward devices for the birth to 3 population that is served by SoonerStart. Amy Woods is, again, as I said, is an occupational therapy assistant, and she has been involved in pediatric occupational therapy since graduating from Tulsa Community College in 2011, where she earned her Associates of Applied Science. Amy's experience in occupational therapy has included working with ages ranging from infants to 18 years of age. Her personal experience with diagnoses include traumatic brain injury, Down syndrome, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, sensory processing disorders, fine motor, visual motor, handwriting, and developmental delays. That is an awful lot, Amy. You are highly qualified. Uh, so thanks for joining us. We're very excited to have you share about AbleTech's Demo and Loan Program. But first, if you will, start off by explaining what your role here is at AbleTech, and especially your work with the SoonerStart program.
Yes, so my role here at AbleTech is the liaison between SoonerStart and AbleTech. I am kind of the go-between person to assist everyone with their SoonerStart assistive technology. So I help with the demo and loan program as well as early literacy.
Okay, well, I will stop sharing, and I understand you're going to be giving us a tour of the AbleTech website.
So if everybody has been on the Oklahoma AbleTech website, SoonerStart has a tab especially for them in the community services section. But for now, I'm going to go over some other highlights of the beginning page. So the guides to all services is where the demonstration and loan program is. And then the community service is where we'll start here in a second. Education is for pre-K through 12th. Employment is for the workforce. And AT Discovery is a tab that you can research and discover assistive technology for a specific need, such as computer access or daily living. And then we have a resource tab that has our funding guide and then publications. Our funding guide is very important, and it is used often for our SoonerStart kiddos. All right. So typically we have a weekly AT feature, and then our newsletter is posted along with our annual report on this beginning page. So let's go to the Community Services tab. And we're going to go to SoonerStart Collaboration. All right. So our mission statement for SoonerStart is on here, over here to the left. You guys will clearly use the right side the most. And we're going to start out with demos. We have a tab on the SoonerStart Collaboration page where you can enter your demos online. It's a little more quick for everyone instead of the paper and trying to remember what you've done for the day or by the end of the week at your staff meetings or every other week. So we're going to click on here. So then it's very self-explanatory. You have to have your county, your date, your name, last name, and your discipline. Whether your demo device meets your need or not, satisfied or highly satisfied. What kind of decision about devices you were able to make after this demo. Are you going to use AT or not use AT? You're going to follow along with the prompts all the way down to the submission. But in this section through 1 through 5, I think it is maybe 7, that is where you're going to put what category that you used, whether it's mobility like a walker, wheelchair, or something of that nature, on down to, assistive listening for hearing, communication. So you're going to categorize those. And if you have multiple, you may put multiple demos in there. If you have any additional comments or you need assistance, you can just put it right here in the end and I will get it and read that. And then you just hit submit. It's a really easy, quick form. And on the mobile site, when you're on your phone, it's the 3 bars in the bottom right corner. You click on it and then go to your community services page. And then you scroll down for the demo form. This is the form that most everyone has. I have an updated one as well that I made. I think Allison made these, so they're still good. And just remember, when you demo something, for the first time, it counts. If you've done it multiple times, it does not count. So only the first time that you have demoed the assistive technology.
To a specific person, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So when they fill out that form that was online, that is per visit, like with one family, but
Right.
they could have demoed multiple devices, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then on this form, you said this is a weekly form.
Yes, so they have to enter those separately.
Okay. And they're not putting a family or name, they're not identifying the child or the family
No,
on this one? Okay.
no, not at all.
Okay.
Just the discipline the AT used, if it was satisfied, unsatisfied, will AT be needed or not needed?
And child identification is never needed,
right,
for demo reporting.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So if you scroll down, there is a reminder on the bottom to remember a demonstration is the first time you use AT with a child and not the subsequent use of the AT. If you have any questions, you can call me, Allison, Sandra. All right, so we're going to go back to community services. So as we know, we need SoonerStart success stories and photo releases, and that is right under the demo form. So if you click that open, just fill this out for your success story, or you can print it and you can fax it over, but you can submit it right here online. And then you can text or email a picture if you'd like.
Amy, just a note. This is Sandra. A picture is required to meet the eligibility, at least one picture for the year. It does not have to go with every success story, but we do need one photo with a photo release to meet the yearly requirement of a success story.
Okay. We also have a list of our SoonerStart AT Assessment Kit. So if anybody ever wants to check to see what is in your kit that you have, if you need to reference, it is right here all listed. I will be updating it soon with pictures and the new early literacy stuff. So that is there and accessible if you're missing something or you are just trying to see if you have something so you don't have to go through your entire kit. And also we have early literacy apps. Sandra and I and Allison gave out these handouts at each early literacy training, but we have posted it to our website. And it is a vast list of early literacy apps. It's a really, really good resource. And there's 54 entries, so there's a couple of pages.
So I'm going to ask a question, not being as familiar with the SoonerStart program. So does the kit include like an iPad with these apps already on them, or are these
an iPad, but not these particular apps that I'm aware of?
Okay, but if a parent or professional were to borrow an iPad from AbleTech, they would be able to use this list and then request these particular apps that they're interested in.
Correct.
Okay.
If SoonerStart personnel have some of these apps that they want to have on their kit iPad, they actually have 2 iPads. Every region should have 2, or every AT kit should have 2 iPads now. And if there were some of these that they wanted to have, they could contact AbleTech, or if they're a quarterly winner and they want to use some of their funds to be able to get apps, we can purchase specifically named apps. We can't do kind of a generic iTunes gift card type deal, but if there's a list of apps they want to have on those assessment kit iPads, then we can do that as well.
And it looks like all of these, or at least the ones I can see in my view, are free. So anyone, they can just load those on their own, just putting in an iTunes account.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we also displayed on the website the Macon Takes that we made. during our early literacy trainings if you ever want to hand those out. This is a plethora of Macon Takes, not just specifically the ones for the early literacy. So if you have any ideas of what you want to make, it might be on here already for an outline for you. So this is a very good resource. There's a basic visual schedule that I know SoonerStart would find handy, and the token chart as well.
Amy, what are some of the Macon Takes that you have done in training with the SoonerStart personnel?
We did the adaptive books.
Okay.
As far as I know, Sandra and Allison might have done others in the past, but the ones that I was involved in were the adaptive books.
Okay.
All right. Kind of went back. And then again on, we have our Sooner success stories posted, our previous Sooner success stories. So if you ever need to refer back to one or want to show someone some assistive technology success stories, these are very handy for you.
And why do we need the success stories so much? What do we do with those, Amy?
We typically, we will give the county, we give the county a Sooner success poster for their quarterly rewards so they can show their teams that, you know, assistive technology has been successful. And then we also use that data information for NATADS to nationally report our data.
Mm-hmm.
We also will use some of these success story pictures and anecdotes in any of our publication materials to kind of disseminate out. Some of these awesome kiddos and these pictures are on our current brochure that we have for Oklahoma Able Tech and our collaboration with SoonerStart.
And then we have the SoonerStart e-news. This is a really important newsletter. We at times will post things that we have. This newsletter, we introduced that we redid our demo room and we have new equipment. So we kind of put our good news here. And then all of these are archived a year back, or 2 years back, I should say.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the community service SoonerStart Collaboration Tab. I'm going to share the quarterly reward requirements. Okay, so the quarterly reward requirements are the number of demos, 2 or more disciplines, 85% need met or not met. We prefer that you put need met or not met versus undecided because you're going to know if assistive technology is needed or not needed. So please try to note that if it's needed or not met or needed. 85% satisfaction and 1 success story is for the quarterly reward requirements. Mm-hmm. After that first success story, you do not need another one for the year unless you want extra points for the annual recognition winner. So the annual recognition winner is each of these 5 criteria, so the number of demos, etc. Each one of those gets a point. And then for each additional success story, you get an extra point as well.
Hey, Amy, can I elaborate just a minute on that need met or not met, number 3? So keep in mind, this doesn't necessarily mean that that piece of AT that was demoed meets the need, but that AT would be tried again. So if you feel like assistive technology in any sort is useful in trying to accomplish something that otherwise was not being accomplished, then that would be a need met, whether it was that particular piece of AT or you're going to try something else. Need not met means that you tried assistive technology and it is not going to help facilitate that skill that we are trying to help compensate or find some alternative for. That in that case, you tried assistive technology, there were no changes in potential for that skill to be seen, and then that would be a situation where you would click or select need not met.
Did you want to elaborate on the annual recognition winners anymore, Sandra?
I think it's pretty clear. So you don't have to meet all 5 to get points. You get points for however many of those 5 you receive each quarter. And then at the end of the year, we total all 4 quarters points. So it's possible to overcome a deficit if you don't meet all of your requirements in quarter 1, and then in quarter 2 you submit 2 success stories, then that will give you a total of 6 points for that quarter. And so just because you didn't meet it in quarter 1 does not put you out of the running necessarily for the annual award.
Great, thanks.
And did you already mention what the annual awards are?
No, we have not.
Okay.
It varies by year.
The quarterly reward is the $500 reward of assistive technology equipment. Okay, I'm going to go to guides to all services now. I'm going to show you how to request a piece of equipment for loan. Our loans are typically 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the demand of the item. Communication devices, I think, are usually 4 weeks because they're the most high demand. So you click on device loan program, and then you can go to search our inventory. And then you can go down, you can scroll down and put in a specific item in this second box, or you can go to all categories and drop down the box and look for a specific category. So we'll do learning, cognitive, and development. And you can request from all partners, but not all partners will loan or loan for that amount of, 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll stay with Stillwater. And then it gives you a list of learning, cognitive, and development equipment that we have in our inventory. Like all those early literacy books that we have gone over are in here. The C reader pen, which SoonerStart's a little early for. But the fish and glow spinner, and we've got several new items this past 6 months that I have kind of tried to revamp our SoonerStart inventory with. So there's a lot of new items if you guys want to check things out. This is just an easy way. There's the little bouncing butterfly that you guys had. So if you want to request something like the time timer, you're going to go in, and it gives you a description of the item, the features, and typically the cost and where it's located. So then you can go up here to borrow a device. You can either submit your request online, or you can download and print your request form, and you can either mail it in or fax it to us. But the submitting your request online is really fairly easy. So everything with a red asterisk is required. I don't think it will let you submit if you do not have those filled in. And again, we want to say that since typically most of you are working with minors, please do not list the minor. List the parent, caregiver, or yourself. The person that checks out the equipment is responsible for the equipment. Were you going to say something, Kimberly?
Yeah, I was going to say that it's a good idea if you are working with a parent and you want them to be responsible, then, you would have them be the one that is filling out the form and agreeing to these terms. If they're not there with you, that would be a good time to do that downloadable form that you could fill out and they get their actual signature on it, that they're understanding that they're the one liable for it. That, I think that helps to alleviate the concerns of the SoonerStart personnel.
Right.
That they might be liable for a client not returning something.
Right. Or it being broken or something damaged. So it's pretty simple: name, address, phone number, email. You do have the option to pick up here in Stillwater if you're close, or we do ship items. We ship them to you, and then we put in a shipping label to return. So that will be inside the shipment box.
Hey, Amy, there's a question in the chat that says, if a parent is unsure of an item category they are looking for, can they just call and say, hey, I'm looking for something that helps with communication, and then would Able Tech staff direct them to what we would have?
Of course. We can do a consult, or we, over the phone, or you can come into Stillwater and we can consult about your needs in a specific category.
Allison also had a question that she typed in. She probably knows the answer to this, but she says, if I fill out the demo form online, do I still have to fill out that weekly form?
No, you do not.
So that's a time saver. We want people to fill that out because that will be easy, huh?
Yeah, it is easy. And then we automatically get them, and I typically will put them in. So then we don't have a load to put in to our data. So you can loan up to 3 items, or request up to 3 items. Those items might not be all in at the same time. So don't think you might get all 3 if we don't have the equipment available. And then your primary purpose of the loan: assist in decision making, short-term accommodations, you're waiting on funding or repair, and then support or professional outreach.
So a professional could borrow equipment that is not specific for a child or a client, right? They could borrow something and just to learn themselves or to train others on how to use it.
Oh yeah, specifically speech communication devices.
Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions on the chat. So to clarify, the annual prize is based on a point system, but the $500 quarterly reward is based on a specific success story. So no, the $500 quarterly reward is based on meeting all 5 of the criteria. The success story counts for each quarter after. For the quarter it is submitted and those after. So for example, if you submit a success story in quarter 1, then you do not have to submit a success story again for quarter 2, 3, and 4 to be eligible for that quarterly reward. So if you don't submit a success story for quarter 1, but you do for quarter 2, then you would be eligible quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So I hope that clarifies. Then also, when I have submitted a success story, the form made it seem like it was from the parent rather than from me as a SoonerStart employee. It was a long time ago, so I'm having difficulty. Okay, it is a little confusing the way the questions are worded. It is supposed to be kind of from the parent, but it can be from, usually we ask you to do it in collaboration with them. Like, I think one of the questions is, how did this assistive technology, or did you feel fortunate to have this technology available to try? Why or why not? And so usually a question the parent saying, what do you think that this helped with? And kind of just getting a brief blurb from them. And then you absolutely, as a SoonerStart personnel member, can input your take on that as well. So it's kind of a combination thereof. We like it to be from the parents, but understand that perspective of the SoonerStart personnel who are actually doing the demo, that your perception and goals may be a little different than the parent. And then one other question, I fill out that demo form for the month and list how many clients I did for each. Is that okay? Because that is the easiest for me with my caseload. Amy, I'll let you answer that.
I think it would be okay. I don't mind it, as long as I know how many participants with that item.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. Also, depending on your time frame for when you submit it, keep in mind that Amy now sends out a deadline date for when all of your reporting needs to be in account for the quarter. So to put this in your hats, so we'll be exiting the quarter at the end of this month, and so you'll have till the Friday after that to get all of your data in for it to count for this quarter, and Amy sends out an email to you guys with that. So keep that in mind. If we get it after that date, then it will count, but it doesn't count for the recognition award.
All right. So to finish out the device loan, you're just going to simply answer the questions. Do not give the name of the person that will be using a device if they're a minor. Please just remember that we do not want their names, parent or caregiver, please. And then you go down your release of liability, your responsibility and liability. and then you electronically sign and submit. And then your request will be automatically sent to Shelby, and we will get that processed and sent out to you. Are there any other questions?
You may have already said this, but the loan comes to them by UPS, takes a couple of days, and then what do they do, with the packing materials, and how do they get it back to us?
Yes, like I said, that there's a packing slip in there, and then you can just use the same packing materials and pack it up and send it back to us. Because that's what we've measured. We've measured that postage with the packing material. So that's what the return slip is for.
And if we want it back, like by the due date, if there are issues, they can always call and let us know what's going on, and we'll work with them.
Yeah. Either replace it or find something different, or help you if you can't figure out how to use the equipment. All right. That is all I really had for the day.
Now, are we also helping with funding questions whenever someone has found a device that they think the child needs to have for longer term?
Yes, we have a funding manual. We can help as much as we can, but we've made this really simple. You go back to the main page right here at resources, go to the AT funding guide, and this is where that content is. So it has lists of funding, and we'll go over that in our next webinar.
Okay, very good.
Danielle just asked, do you have something like this on the website itself that we can direct parents to, like a visual webinar on how to help parents make requests? That's a great question. Not yet, but it will be coming, and this webinar will get posted as well to maybe help parents guide that. But that's a great suggestion that we can maybe put together. We also would love to hear from SoonerStart personnel. If there's any particular trainings or sessions that you guys would like to have from AbleTech in terms of whether it's your AT assessment kit, updates to your AT assessment kit, demoing, how to introduce AT, any of those type of topics that SoonerStart personnel would like from us, whether it's an in-person type training or something similar to this, like a interactive webinar, so that we can help provide the needs to SoonerStart personnel. I know in our upcoming year, we are hoping to be able to provide kind of a refresher type setup on your AT assessment kits and how it all works and different uses for the items that are in there. So if you have any other suggestions, please email myself or Amy, and so that we can kind of look at those and make sure that we're meeting your needs.
Thanks so much for joining us, Amy, and for sharing all this useful information about the AbleTech Demo and Loan Program. Now, if you need to reach Amy, her contact information is there. Her direct line at AbleTech is 405-744-7734, or you can email Amy at amy.l.woods@okstate.edu. And finally, if you need documentation of your participation, you can contact me, Kimberly Berry at okstate.edu. You can call me. My direct line is listed there as well. And the 800 number is 800-257-1705. And again, our website is okabletech.org. So thanks everybody for joining us, and especially Amy for presenting, and Sandra. Thanks. You all have a great day.